What's going on, guys and gals? Sanitary 103, always encouraging clean eating and a clean and healthy lifestyle. And in today's episode of In the News, and I'll put a link to the article in the description box, it is entitled, Getting 8 Hours of Sleep a Night, ? You might just want to cut back. So I'm sure each and every one of you has heard of the idea of getting 8 hours of sleep, getting at least 8 hours of sleep. That's been pretty much known across the board that that's the number that you want to aim for if you want to be refreshed, you want to be healthy, and you want to be alert. But according to this article and according to some experts, they're basically saying that the whole 8 hours might just be a little bit too much, and that mortality rates and morbidity rates are actually lower for people that get less than 8 hours, usually around 7 hours. And they also mentioned another study that your cognitive ability peaks at around 7 hours, and anything more than 7 hours of sleep doesn't really help in your cognitive ability. So let's talk about the first finding regarding the morbidity and the mortality. So according to Daniel F. Kripke, he's a professor of psychiatry at the University of California, San Diego. He tracked 1.1 million people who participated in a cancer study who reported sleeping between 6.5 and 7.4 hours. And he found out that they had a lower mortality rate than those with shorter or longer sleep. He also recorded the week-long sleep activity of about 450 elderly women a decade later, and the research has found that those who slept fewer than 5 hours or more than 6.5 hours had a higher mortality. So based on that study, the 6.5 to 7.4 seems to be the magic number based on lowering mortality and morbidity. And the second study regarding cognitive ability, they didn't go into too much detail, but they basically followed 160,000 users and had them do some cognitive tests, some memory matching and math tests, and they found out that the people that slept about 7 hours in that range, they actually had the best cognitive ability. So just to give you my 2 quick cents on this article, I would kind of take it with a grain of salt, because the main problem that I have is that the whole correlation equals causation. It's just not true. Just because you correlate one with the other, it doesn't mean that's the cause. Now for the one study about the morbidity and the mortality, people that tend to be sick tend to sleep longer. And in their study, they talked about cancer patients, but not even with cancer patients, because I deal with cancer patients. Even when you get like the flu, what happens? You get all tired and you start sleeping a lot. And quickly backtracking to the example of let's say a terminally ill cancer patient. If that patient's getting close to their deathbed and they're sleeping a lot of hours and then they end up dying, and then they track it and say, oh, this person died and one of the reasons is because they slept too much. Well, that's not even the case. I mean, the amount of sleep that that person got is just a byproduct of them getting worn out and their immune system basically shutting down from the cancer. Correlation and the causation just do not match. As far as the second study regarding cognitive ability, now who knows, 160,000 users, that is a good amount of people, but personally with me, I don't think science can put an exact number. They can't have a special equation and say, boom, compute it and say this is what everybody needs. Everybody is different. Everybody has different basically sleeping needs, like I mentioned. For me, my magic number is right around the 8 hour mark. That's what works for me. I can go a day with like 6 hours, 7 hours, and I've noticed that on certain days when if I'll get like 6 or 7, I'm actually more alert in the morning, which is kind of weird. But as the day goes on and when it hits about like 2 p.m., start shutting down. I get really, really worn out, really tired, and I don't drink any caffeine. So in conclusion, these studies probably have some validity, but I wouldn't quite jump the gun too early. Everybody's different. And the question I have for you guys is, what's the amount of sleep that you need? What's that magic number? What's that threshold in which, mine's 8 hours. What is that threshold for you? Some people can get by with 7 hours, 6 hours. Some people need 9 hours. Where is that threshold for you guys? I would love to know how much hours of sleep do you need per night to feel fresh? Thanks once again for watching this video. Comments and questions are always welcome. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. It'll start to form like this. So now, for the toppings, good old pecan halves right here. Just get some crunch and just kind of pour that in like that.